In studio with me, I have Oshea Orchid from SOM Lawyers, and hey, welcome to the studio. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, give me a second. Okay, Dragon.
Thanks for having
Okay,
me.
there we go. Sorry, I did
Good
not.
morning.
I turned on the wrong microphone there. Hey, so happy to have you. Thanks for coming in again. I know you have a busy schedule doing all kinds of stuff. And Val Verde, over the weekend, the residents hosted a tour to kind of, invite people to come and actually experience the impact that Chiquita Canyon, the landfill, has had on the community itself. And we actually had one of our reporters, Danny, actually go out there and cover the whole, the tour and what you guys were doing. And you guys showed a documentary. But I think that one of the important things is she came back and she reported, like, literally, I think she was there only an hour. And she was saying, yeah, I already have a bad headache just being there in the area.
Yeah, it was actually really painful for us to do that tour. It was on President's Day, and so what we thought was important was, with people having the day off, but it being a holiday that most people don't have, plans with their family and whatnot. We thought it would be a good day to have people come out and be able to experience what the community experiences on a daily basis. But it was very painful because many people in the community at this point, they're staying inside their houses when there's those kind of gases. And so to have other people experience what Danny came out and saw, which is that you immediately have health impacts being impacted by the gases, that meant that we all had to do it with her and
Mm-hmm.
with George Whiteside and Assemblymember Pilar Shivo, who also came out. It was so important for them to all see what it's really like for themselves. But yeah, many people in our community have been corresponding since it happened and have been bedridden, headaches, just really suffering, stomach issues, just from that exposure from being out walking around for hours, to demonstrate what the issues are. And what we
Mm-hmm.
did is we started at the church. We did the screening of the film, Buried Consequences, which is nice to be able to share with people because that includes hearing from neighbors, but you can do it in an indoor setting.
Yeah.
um, and then we walked and we walked down the street Lincoln, which was probably about like walking 3 blocks. But during that walk and just hearing briefly from neighbors, we all were really suffering with headaches and just the smell was intense. I think somebody said they thought it was about a 3 out of 5, but there's oftentimes it's a 5.
Yeah, that if that's a 3 out of 5, I can only imagine what a 5 would be. So the documentary you guys showed is called "Buried Consequences: The Chiquita Canyon Story," and it's actually, if you want to watch it, it's about a 13-minute documentary. It's a short documentary, so you can take maybe your lunch or something today. Just sit down and watch it. Go to hometownstation.com. We have an article. It's embedded in that article, and it discusses kind of the impact and the lasting effects that the last 2 years of these noxious fumes have like had on the community in that area. Did you have a moment to actually stop and talk with Whitesides or Schiavo?
Yeah, we did. It was great to have both of them come out and experience what's going on, speak to residents. I think they're both very committed to the issue and looking at what more can be done from you know on each of their plates to be able to get residents relief. And I think the key thing is finding some way to get people out of the area. So I think our next step is contacting the governor's office since we have not gotten the response that we need from the county to get a state of emergency. We're now going to have to just keep going and ask the governor's office to take decisive action to get people relief because walking those President streets really highlighted the issue that some of these people, they need to leave the area, and it's for financial reasons that they haven't been able to. But there are many neighbors who have left the area that are able to. A lot of people with young children that are just too concerned about the health symptoms their kids are having to stay. But there's also people that are there, I mean, recovering from cancer, um, you know, running air purifiers every day, not going outside of their homes, and many that are very concerned that if they sell their home, a young family, just like they were when they moved in, is going to move in and their kids are going to get sick too. And a lot of our neighbors just say morally we can't do that because these are the type of homes, the prices that they're going to be at. It is going to be young families that are going to need a home and think, well, we're pretty young and healthy. We'll probably be okay. And a lot of the people that moved into those homes years ago with that attitude, thinking, the landfill's going to close or it's hopefully not going to be that bad, they're now experiencing serious health problems and, either financially can't leave or feel like it's just morally wrong to resell the home to somebody else.
Yeah. Now I know you mentioned in one of our like previous discussions that she actually did I guess like an experiment where she wanted to actually stay there overnight and experience the whole thing herself.
Yeah, so she actually came to the same street that we walked on Monday, and she stayed the night with a neighbor, Jennifer Elkins. She stayed in their camper, and she didn't leave the door open the whole day, but just for about an hour, I think she said. But she had those health symptoms right away, the bloody nose in the morning, the headache. And so, yeah, so she's definitely experienced it and knows what we're dealing with.
Yeah, to I guess to come back and go like I'm ready for round two. I guess shows the kind of commitment. Like, okay, yeah, this is an issue. So I'm wondering, did Whitesides actually experience anything? Were you able to talk to him and get his take on, was he feeling anything when he was there?
I actually didn't personally talk to him about any medical symptoms, but I would be shocked if and he had a staff person with him too. I'd be shocked if neither of them had any effect of the gases because it was intense enough that the majority of the people I spoke to about being out there were having some kind of impact. And even we had, people that joined us from the church and people that came from outside the community other than our elected officials who were experiencing it.
Now, here's the other thing. As of the start of this year, Chiquita Canyon Landfill announced that they were shutting down. So I guess to somebody that doesn't experience this every single day, what would you say to the person that goes like, well, they're already shutting down, so problem solved, right?
Well, the problem is they've got all this hazardous waste there, and it's still hitting the air and still getting out into the community. And actually, like this week was really bad. We've got, the monitors are showing toxic chemicals in the air like benzene, and it's actually, the landfill's still, of course, the operators are there. They're managing it allegedly, but they've also, since they're being sued not just by residents now, but also by the county. They've really gotten quiet about what's being done over there. And, we're hoping to hear more from regulators about what's being done to clean that up. But it's not cleaned up is the bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Okay, great. Chiquita Canyon Landfill is announcing they're shutting down, but hey, it's still it still stinks so bad over there. So, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. So I've been talking to Oshea Orchid from SOM Lawyers, and we've been talking about the Val Verde residents who hosted a tour, inviting just everybody from the community to come and experience what they experience on a daily basis. And we actually have a documentary. If I suppose if you don't have the time to go and experience it yourself, you can actually experience it through this short documentary called Buried Consequences, the Chiquita Canyon Story. And that we have an article on hometownstation.com. It's embedded in the story itself. It's only 13 minutes or so, so not too much of your time. But it is a powerful kind of testament to what the community is experiencing. So it's very, very important that you go out there and you actually, read up. Well, if you can experience it, go and see just what they're talking about. And hey, Oshea, thank you so much for coming in. If somebody wants more information about SOM Lawyers or more about Chiquita Canyon, where can they go?
Well, I highly recommend watching the video, as you just mentioned. probably over actually having to experience it for yourself. But you can also find the video on our website, which is somlawyers.com.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming in. I hope you're coming in again next week. We can keep an update, keep a beat to this. And, well, I got to give a quick traffic report before I leave you.